When a struggling single dad lends a hand to repair a stranger's broken-down camper on a quiet roadside, he never expects the woman inside to be a world-famous billionaire hiding from the spotlight. The rain crashed down over the rural town of Fernvale, turning dirt paths into thick rivers of mud. 35-year-old Cole Maddox, a rugged single father with weathered hands and sharp blue eyes, tightened the tarp over the woodpile beside his creaking porch. Life had never been gentle to him, especially since his wife passed 3 years ago, leaving him to raise his 8-year-old daughter Evie alone. As he worked, headlights slashed through the rain. A dented white camper, sputtering and coughing smoke, came to a halt in front of his fence. A soaked figure in a tattered gray hoodie stepped out. Cole instinctively pulled Evie closer behind him. Trust didn't come easy in these parts, not with a child to protect. "Please, I just need a mechanic or somewhere dry for the night," the woman called out, shivering, her voice brittle with desperation. Cole hesitated, his heart torn between suspicion and compassion. Finally, he motioned toward the porch. "You can wait here. I'll see what I can do about that engine." Inside the camper, he found a mess of fried wiring and water damage. The woman watched him work with trembling lips, her face shadowed beneath the hoodie. Cole didn't know it yet, but this rainy night would change everything. Cole handed her an old towel and a steaming mug of instant coffee. The woman sat silently on a folding chair near the fireplace, her soaked hoodie dripping onto the floorboards. Evie peeked from behind the living room door, her big brown eyes curious but cautious. "I'm Cole," he said, crouching near the fire. "And that's my daughter Evie." The woman hesitated. "I'm Aria, just Aria, no last name, no details." Her voice was soft, cultured, but carried weight, like someone used to giving orders even in whispers. Cole didn't push. He'd met his share of folks running from something. He simply nodded, focusing instead on the crackling fire between them. Aria's fingers wrapped tightly around the warm mug, her posture tense, like she was ready to bolt at any second. Evie crept closer, a blanket wrapped around her small frame. "Do you have kids?" Aria blinked, visibly startled. "No, I don't." Evie nodded solemnly and sat beside her father. That small exchange seemed to ease something in Aria, though she still didn't meet their eyes. Cole noticed how she flinched every time thunder shook the windows, her jaw tightening like someone with buried memories. Whatever Aria was hiding, Cole figured she'd tell them when, or if, she was ready. For now, she was just a stranger seeking shelter. But something about her didn't sit right, not in a dangerous way, more like a puzzle missing a few pieces. The next morning, the storm passed, leaving behind silence and soaked earth. Cole walked Aria back to her camper, toolbox in hand. The thing was in worse shape than he thought. Water had seeped through the vents, shorting out key circuits and frying the alternator. Fixing it wouldn't be cheap, but Cole didn't say that out loud. He just rolled up his sleeves and got to work. Aria watched from a few feet away, arms folded tightly. Her hoodie was finally off, revealing a delicate face framed by waves of auburn hair. She had pale skin and striking green eyes that flicked quickly from his hands to the camper's wires and back again, as if memorizing every movement. "You're good at this," she murmured. "I've had to be. Living out here, you learn fast or pay someone twice what it's worth." He smirked without humor. "Still, thank you." Cole glanced at her. "Don't thank me yet. I haven't gotten it running." By late afternoon, he had the camper's wiring stable enough for lights and basic power. But she'd need a new alternator, one that might take days to arrive from the city. "Looks like you're stuck for a bit," Cole said, brushing grease from his hands. "You're welcome to stay out front. Safe here, quiet." Aria nodded slowly, as if part of her wanted to run and the other part wanted to stay more than anything. The next few mornings passed quietly. Aria made herself helpful around the property, offering to sweep the porch, fold laundry, and even fix an old bookshelf in Evie's room. She claimed she had tinkered with tools before, but her smooth hands and uncertain grip betrayed a life more accustomed to boardrooms than barns. Still, Cole didn't press. He watched her cautiously but not unkindly, noticing how Evie took to her almost instantly. Aria had a gentle way with the girl, reading her stories, listening carefully, asking questions that made Evie beam. One rainy morning, Cole walked in to find them in the kitchen. Aria was at the stove, struggling with pancakes. "You've never made them before?" he asked, amused. "Not from scratch," she replied, her cheeks pink with embarrassment. He guided her through it, adding flour, eggs, and just the right amount of baking powder. Aria laughed, a light, surprised sound that echoed through the kitchen like something long forgotten. Cole looked at her, seeing someone learning how to breathe again. After breakfast, Aria helped Evie with a puzzle at the kitchen table while Cole stepped outside to stack wood. Through the foggy window, he saw Aria smiling, her green eyes alight with something warm and real. Whatever her story was, she wasn't just passing through anymore. It was Evie who cracked the first clue. That evening, the three of them curled up on the couch watching a worn DVD. Arya sat in the middle, Evie leaning against her arm, Cole beside them, silent but at ease. When the credits rolled, Evie turned to Arya and said, "You look just like that lady from the news last year, the rich one who vanished." Arya froze, her breath hitched and her body went rigid. Cole raised an eyebrow. "What lady?" Evie frowned in concentration. Alexa something, she had this huge company. Mom used to say she was like a queen." Arya stood up abruptly. "It's late, I should get back to the camper." She left without another word, her footsteps light but hurried. Cole stared after her, something uneasy turning in his gut. He didn't know who Alexa was, but Arya's reaction had spoken volumes. He waited until Evie was asleep, then stepped outside and knocked on the camper's door. She opened it slowly, no hoodie this time, just the face of a woman stripped of lies. "Is your real name Alexa?" he asked gently. She didn't answer, but her eyes filled with tears, and that was enough. The rain returned that night, soft and steady. Inside her camper, Arya, no, Alexa, sat on the edge of her small cot, the tension in her shoulders finally too heavy to carry. Cole leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed but not confrontational. "You don't owe me anything, but I'd like to know what you're running from. For Evie's sake, if nothing else." Alexa looked down at her hands. "I wasn't running, not at first. I was escaping." She unfolded her story slowly, how she was Alexa Marrow, founder of Marrowtech, a billionaire in name but broken in spirit. She'd built her empire young, outpacing her mentors and enemies alike. But when her CFO, someone she once considered family, sold company secrets and left her to take the fall, the media turned on her like wolves. The betrayal had nearly destroyed her. "I disappeared because I didn't know who I was anymore," she whispered. "I just wanted silence, somewhere no one knew my name." Cole didn't speak right away. Finally he nodded. "Well, you found that here. Whether you're Alexa or Arya, you've been nothing but good to my kid. And that's all that matters to me." Her expression cracked. "You don't think I'm a danger?" "You're not," he said. "You're just hurt." After that night, something shifted. The tension between them softened into understanding. Alexa no longer pretended to be someone else, but she also didn't flaunt her past. It was a quiet compromise. They both had scars they didn't always show. Cole continued repairing the camper, even as the part for the alternator remained on backorder. Alexa spent her days helping around the house, her movements no longer hesitant but purposeful. She had grown comfortable in their rhythm, in the clatter of breakfast, the soft hum of chores, the laughter echoing between worn walls. Evie had stopped asking questions. She simply accepted Alexa, offering her trust without conditions. One afternoon, as Alexa and Cole sanded the porch railing together, he said, "You know, most people would have run to a beach in Spain. You picked a farm with a busted fence and a single dad with calloused hands." Alexa smiled wryly. "I wasn't looking for comfort, I was looking for truth. And you don't find that in five-star hotels." He chuckled. "You really think there's truth in chicken coops and soggy cereal?" "Yes," she said softly. "More than I ever found in boardrooms." As the camper repairs dragged on, so did the nights. One evening, Cole and Alexa sat on the back porch while Evie slept upstairs. Fireflies blinked across the tall grass and the stars broke through the dark canopy above. Cole passed her a mug of herbal tea. "Ever think of going back?" She paused. "Sometimes, but not as the person I used to be. I don't want that world anymore." "What do you want?" She looked at him, really looked. "Peace. A chance to build something with meaning, maybe even. A place to belong." Cole stared ahead. "I get that." He shared his story in return. How his wife had died in a hospital hallway during a power outage. How he had to give up city life to raise Evie somewhere quieter. He spoke of loneliness, fear, and how every day felt like patching a boat full of holes while pretending to sail. Alexa listened without interrupting, her hand resting gently on his. They sat like that for a long time, no titles, no expectations. Just two people carrying their pain, side by side in silence that felt almost like healing. It happened on a Tuesday morning. Alexa had taken Evie to the edge of the property to help her gather wildflowers. Cole was trimming branches near the old shed when he heard the sound, that distinct piercing click of a camera shutter. He turned just in time to see the man. Mid-30s, DSLR slung around his neck, lurking behind the trees like a ghost with a deadline. The man locked eyes with Cole and bolted. Cole chased him down, adrenaline and instinct flaring. He caught him by the arm just before the man reached his van. "Who are you?" Cole demanded. "Freelancer," the man gasped. "I'm just trying to make a living. Alexa Marrow is front page gold and someone tipped us off." Cole's stomach sank. Somehow they'd found her. He let the man go, too furious to speak. When he returned, Alexa was holding Evie's hand tightly, her face pale. "It's over, isn't it?" she whispered. Cole didn't have an answer. Not yet. That night the house was silent except for the ticking of the clock in the kitchen. Alexa stood at the door of the camper, her suitcase at her feet. Her face was calm, but her eyes shimmered with unshed tears. Cole stood across from her, fists clenched. "You don't have to go." "Yes, I do," she said. "If I stay, they'll swarm this place, they'll follow me. You and Evie, you won't be safe." Evie came running from the porch, hugging Alexa around the waist. "You can't leave." Alexa knelt down, brushing hair from the girl's tear-streaked face. "I'll always care about you, Evie, but right now I have to fix some things for good." Cole looked away, jaw tight. He hated it, hated how helpless it felt. "You changed our lives," he said quietly. Alexa gave him a bittersweet smile. "You changed mine first." Then she got in the camper, started the engine, and drove off into the fog. Cole stood watching until the tail lights vanished into the trees. The days after Alexa's departure felt hollow. The house was quieter, too quiet. Evie noticed it first, setting only 2 plates at breakfast and lingering near the window as if hoping to catch sight of the camper returning. Cole tried to fill the silence with chores, mending fences, fixing the leaky roof, working longer hours at the auto shop in town. But no matter how much he busied his hands, his thoughts kept drifting to her. To the way she smiled when Evie made a joke, to how her presence had gently mended cracks in their once frazzled home. Even the porch felt different without her laughter floating through the screens. Evie asked about her every night. "Is she coming back, Dad?" Cole never lied to his daughter. "I don't know, Peanut, but she made us better while she was here. That counts for something." Evie nodded slowly. "Can we write her a letter?" Cole smiled faintly. "Yeah, I think we should." As Evie penned her note, full of childish drawings and hopeful wishes, Cole realized something. Alexa hadn't just passed through their lives. She'd left part of herself behind, and something told him she wasn't finished with them yet. 3 months passed. One quiet morning, Cole was sorting mail when a large envelope marked with embossed silver lettering caught his eye. He turned it over and froze. There it was, elegantly printed in the corner. The Liana Foundation. Inside was a letter from Alexa. She explained everything, how after leaving Fernvale, she stepped back into the world but on her terms. Using her remaining assets, she established a nonprofit dedicated to helping single-parent households, named in honor of a brave little girl who showed me what love really looks like. The Liana Foundation would provide housing, scholarships, and emergency resources for struggling families. Cole sat down slowly, heart thudding as he read Alexa's words. She hadn't just found her strength, she had turned her pain into purpose. And she hadn't forgotten them. At the bottom of the letter was a handwritten note. "Cole, there's a place for you both here if you ever want it. You showed me how to live. I'd love the chance to return the favor." For the first time in weeks, Cole smiled, really smiled. The decision wasn't easy, but it felt right. Cole packed up his truck, loaded Evie's school books, and left a note for his neighbor to keep watch over the property. Fernvale had been their safe haven, but it wasn't where their story ended. They drove north toward the address listed in the letter, a small town called Elmridge, where the Liana Foundation's first shelter was being built. It sat nestled near a wooded ridge, the structure half-finished but full of energy and hope. Alexa was there, clipboard in hand, sleeves rolled up, directing volunteers with a grace that didn't scream billionaire, but rather leader. She turned at the sound of the truck and froze, blinking in disbelief. Evie was the first out. "You're not hiding anymore." Alexa knelt, arms wide, and hugged her tight. Cole stepped forward slowly. "Figured you might need a decent mechanic on site." Alexa rose, eyes shimmering. "I need more than that." Their eyes locked. The moment stretched. There was no fanfare, just quiet recognition of the bond that hadn't broken with distance. Together, they had found something better than a hiding place. They had found a future. Life in Elmridge took on a new rhythm. Cole became the foundation's maintenance coordinator, overseeing repairs and mentoring volunteers. Evie helped with kids' activities after school, her laughter once again filling hallways. Alexa was no longer a recluse in hiding, nor a high-profile CEO. She was present, grounded, and deeply invested in the lives she was changing. She attended town meetings, cooked in the communal kitchen, and stayed late to comfort struggling parents. One evening, as Cole fixed a jammed window in the main office, Alexa walked in holding a plate of cookies. She leaned against the door, watching him. "I always imagined success looked like towers and contracts," she said. "Now I think it looks like this." Cole dusted off his hands. "You built a second chance for yourself and for all of them. And you gave me the courage to try." They stood in silence for a moment. Then she reached for his hand. "There's something I've been thinking about," she added softly. "Not business, family." Cole looked at her carefully, heart thumping. "You, me, and Evie," she said. "If it feels right." He didn't answer with words. He kissed her instead. They didn't rush things. Life in Elmridge was already enough of a whirlwind, with the foundation growing, press now respectful instead of ravenous, and people slowly beginning to accept Alexa as more than a former billionaire. But in the quiet moments, family dinners, morning coffees, whispered goodnights, They grew into something deeper. Cole taught Evie how to ride a bike near the open fields behind the shelter. Alexa watched from the porch, laughter in her eyes. At night they shared stories under string lights and talked about the future. Not the glittering kind, but the kind with gardens, holidays, and love. They celebrated the Foundation's grand opening with a ribbon-cutting ceremony. Cole stood by Alexa's side, no longer in the shadows. The town now saw what they had already known. She wasn't a runaway. She was a woman reborn, and as she took the microphone and thanked her team, she glanced at Evie in the crowd and then at Cole. "I thought I was running from the world," she said. "But I was actually running toward home." The applause thundered. But for Cole, the only sound that mattered was Evie clapping her hands and shouting, "That's my family." A few months later, the chill of early autumn settled over Elmridge. The leaves turned golden and red, painting the town in warm colors. Life had found a gentle rhythm for Cole, Alexa, and Evie. But there was one day approaching that made Alexa particularly anxious. Evie's 9th birthday. She wanted it to be special, not flashy, not something from the world she had once ruled, but something meaningful, from the heart. She spent days secretly planning with Cole. Together, they decorated the barn beside the foundation with handmade lanterns, colorful ribbons, and a cake baked with Evie's favorite, strawberries and cream. On the big day, Alexa brought Evie to the barn under the pretense of helping her deliver supplies. When the doors opened, dozens of kids and families they'd helped stood ready with balloons and cheers. Evie gasped, her eyes wide with joy. "This is all for me," she whispered. Alexa knelt beside her. "It's for you because you've given us so much joy." Evie ran to her, hugging her tightly. "You're the best, Alexa." Then, as the party went on, Evie added softly, "But I kinda want to start calling you Mom." Alexa's eyes welled. She hugged the girl tighter, whispering, "Then I'd be the luckiest mom in the world." It was bound to happen eventually. One afternoon, as Alexa was organizing donations in the main hall, a sleek black car pulled up to the Foundation's entrance. Out stepped a sharply dressed man in a tailored suit, sunglasses hiding his expression. Cole walked out to meet him, jaw clenched. The man introduced himself as Marcus Vale, Alexa's former legal advisor, and the one person who'd remained loyal during the media storm. "She doesn't owe you anything," Cole said firmly. "I'm not here to collect," Marcus replied calmly. "I'm here to apologize, and to ask for her help." Alexa, hearing the commotion, emerged from the building. Her eyes narrowed when she saw Marcus, but she didn't retreat. He explained that her former company, now under new leadership, was crashing. The new board wanted her input, maybe even her return to salvage what was left. Alexa listened, but her face remained still. Then she looked to Cole and Evie, who stood behind her. "I've already chosen what to rebuild," she said, "and I'm not leaving them." Marcus nodded slowly. "Then maybe you'll let me help here instead." Surprised, Alexa welcomed him inside. People can change, she thought, even those who once left you behind. By spring, the Liana Foundation had helped over 100 families. Donations surged, not because of Alexa's fame, but because of its impact. Real stories of healing, of second chances, of people reclaiming dignity, spread like wildfire. They opened a second center in a neighboring town. Cole oversaw logistics. Alexa managed outreach and mentorship programs. Evie, ever the heart of it all, painted a mural at the entrance, depicting a sun rising behind a small farmhouse, a camper beside it, and 3 smiling figures. It was their story in color. When journalists came, Alexa no longer hid. She spoke openly, not just about her rise and fall, but about what truly mattered: community, kindness, and the extraordinary power of human connection. "I was wealthy once," she said in one interview. "But I wasn't rich, not until I met a little girl and her father who taught me how to live again." The clip went viral. But this time it wasn't scandal that followed her, it was admiration. And she knew, deep down, she had truly returned to herself. One late night, a thunderstorm rolled in, eerily reminiscent of the night she first arrived at Cole's door. Wind howled against the windows and rain pelted the roof in waves. As lightning lit the sky, Alexa sat up in bed, memories flooding back. She stepped out into the hallway to find Cole already awake, standing at Evie's bedroom door. "She's fine," he said quietly. "Just dreaming." Alexa joined him, looking in at the little girl now so firmly part of her soul. "This storm feels familiar," she murmured. Cole looked at her. "But we're not the same people anymore." She leaned into him, letting his warmth calm the echoes of her past. "We weathered it together," she said. Outside, the thunder rolled, but inside the house there was only peace. Spring bloomed across Elmridge with wildflowers and laughter. Cole, Alexa, and Evie had settled not just into a home but into a life. Alexa stood one morning by the porch, watching Evie run barefoot through the grass. Cole came up behind her, wrapping his arms around her waist. "This is what forever looks like," he said. They weren't rich in the way the world measured it, But they had love, purpose, and each other. They had built something lasting, together. That night, under a sky full of stars, Alexa tucked Evie into bed and whispered a promise. No more running, no more hiding. This is home. You're my home. Cole joined her at the door, and together they turned out the light. If this story touched your heart, reminded you that second chances are real, and that love can bloom in the most unexpected places, then don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this, where hope, healing, and love shine brighter than any spotlight. Subscribe now and be part of more unforgettable journeys.